But let's talk about this. So look, Andromedans. So what role do they play here? Now that we know all of this officially is happening, we have to have some contact. There's a lot of history here with the treaty that Eisenhower signed that kind of sold humanity down the river. This dilemma, would you like to explain in your words what this dilemma is? Earth's dilemma.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to. Okay. In a nutshell, what I'll try to do is condense this of all the years and just give it to you as short and as sweet as possible. Essentially, here's the deal. Earth, the makeup of humanity on a physical level is made up of at least 22 different extraterrestrial races, a genetic lineage to other star nations. Earth has been inhabited and has been used as a way station, a port of harbor for space traveling extraterrestrial star nations for millions of years. And that's right, millions of years.
Oh.
So, and they've come and they've visited. Our ecosystem is such that, you know, many star nations and space explorers, they have found things along their travels, life forms. And what they have done is they have taken some of their DNA of these life forms and they have altered them to see if they would survive in our ecosystem. So, you know, that's why Earth looks like a zoo. And the 7 worlds that we have here are so dense with life. And that's because this has been, for the most part, it turned out to enter a huge experiment. So what happened is a very bad group, a rogue group, pirates, somehow managed to find their way here and hide. They were able to hide. And they kept a very, very low profile from their star brothers and sisters. And for, you know, a million years or so, pretended not to be doing anything bad or harmful. They were just here and not interfering. That's the way they made it look. Then you have the Anunnaki, the Nibiru specifically, that their star system passes through our solar system. They interacted. Some were very benevolent. Some really didn't care for us at all. They just looked at us as roaches, as a natural resource. But others were very compassionate toward humanity. And they did things to help, teaching us agriculture, animal husbandry, construction, astronomy, mathematics, things of that nature, the healing arts, how to use the plants to heal certain diseases and things of that nature. Some actually taught us some spirituality, energy fields, chakras, etc., etc. And then they eventually all moved on. So what happened was in the 50s, well, actually it began with the Nazis. Somehow the Nazis got hooked up with the Draconians and the Greys. And things really went south for humanity after that. As the Nazis the German people were incredibly industrious, great builders, great inventors, had a real gift for being able to see how things worked. And they were perfect in order to lure them into, okay, if you do this, we will give you technology. And that's where it started. Okay, that's where it started with the Nazis. And then it later happened with the United States. Again, it was the same exact scenario. They dangled all of this technology and said, look, we just want to study you, maybe do some experiments. We'll tell you who we're who we're doing it with, what we're doing. We won't do anything nefarious, et cetera, et cetera. And in return for this, we will give you technology. Well, the reality is no one kept their promise because these groups were nefarious. They were on the run, which, of course, we didn't know. Mm. And we made the leap. We made the leap into the technological generation. And the issue is that when we leaped into the technological generation with these beings, our top scientists and those who began to work with them on their programs and the budgets and the special access projects that became part of the structure to support this system, their consciousness shifted away from a compassionate human one to beginning to think like the extraterrestrials. In other words, it was a gradual leaving behind your compassion and your association with humanity to be isolated in these programs and to see humanity as just something that's holding you back. That we don't know. I don't know if we'll ever find out, but I think we will one day. I don't know if it's going to be any of our governments that tell us. I think it's going to be the extraterrestrials who at some point sit down humanity and say, look, here's the whole story of who you are and how we got here and why we're here. All right? That day is going to come when they lay it out for us. Because the last thing the benevolents want is to be worshipped. That is not what they're about. Sure. What they want is humanity to step forward and become a part of the family of the galactic, and not as, in other words, they don't want to come into like a CPS system where they have to come in and protect us and babysit us. That's not what this is about. The other factor here is to get rid of this bunch that has been doing this to many, many star nations and have for millions of years, where they've come in and they've taken evolving civilizations and they've turned them into slaves and natural resources and literally have fed off of them. All right?
Yeah.
And that shit is done. It's over. Everybody's done with that, because as the new frequency is coming in, and it's coming from the top down, this has to change. This whole system of how third density's been managed is going to change. And this particular bunch, they have a lot to answer for.